Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the exploration ship, the Wanderer, watching the stars just drift by on the main viewing screen. 3 months into their deep space survey mission, his crew hadn't found a thing, just empty space and dead rocks. The very edge of human territory was supposed to hold secrets, but so far, it had only given them boredom. "Captain, I'm picking up something weird on the long-range sensors," Lisa Carter said from her spot at the navigation console. Her fingers zipped across the control panel as she tried to get a clearer reading. Jake walked over to look at her screen. "What kind of weird?" "It's big, metallic, and it's not moving. Could be a derelict ship, but the signature doesn't match anything in our database." Lisa frowned at the display. "It's about 6 hours away at our current speed." "Any signs of life?" Jake asked. "None that I can detect from this distance. Whatever it is, it's been dead for a long time." Jake turned to the communication station. Amy Walsh was there, monitoring the empty channels. "Amy, any distress signals or transmissions from that direction?" "Nothing but cosmic background noise, Captain. If there's a ship out there, it's not talking." Ryan Brooks looked up from the engineering console, where he'd been running routine diagnostics. "Captain, if it's a derelict, we should check it out. Salvage rights alone could make this trip worthwhile." Jake nodded slowly. Finding abandoned ships was rare, but profitable. Even alien scrap metal fetched good prices back on Earth. "All right, change course, but we approach carefully. Lisa, plot us a safe intercept course." "Already on it, Captain." As the Wanderer changed direction, Jake felt that familiar tingle of excitement that came with discovering something new. After 20 years in space, first as a military officer and now as an explorer, he still loved the thrill of the unknown. 6 hours later, they got their first clear look at the mysterious object. Kevin Park, their scientist, stood beside Jake on the bridge, staring at the main screen in amazement. "My God," Kevin whispered. "That's not alien." The ship floating before them was massive, easily 3 times the size of the Wanderer. Its hull was dark gray metal, covered in what looked like weapon ports and sensor arrays. Most shocking of all, faded letters were visible on the side. UES Vanguard. UES. Lisa said, confused. "That's a United Earth designation, but I've never heard of any ship called Vanguard." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. "Kevin, run that name through the historical database. Amy, scan for any signs of life or active systems." Kevin's fingers flew over his tablet computer. After a few minutes, he looked up, his face pale. "Captain, according to records, the UES Vanguard was a prototype warship that disappeared over 200 years ago. It was part of an experimental program that was classified and then abandoned after first contact with the aliens. 200 years? Ryan said from his console. "That's before we even had proper faster-than-light travel." "The records are incomplete," Kevin continued, "but it says the ship was designed by Admiral Hellencross as part of something called Project Guardian. The entire program was shut down when humanity decided to pursue peaceful contact with alien species instead of military development." Amy turned from her station. "Captain, I'm detecting minimal power readings from the ship. Something is still active over there, but barely." Jake studied the ancient vessel on the screen. Its design was unlike anything in the current Earth fleet. Modern ships were sleek and curved, but this one was angular and aggressive. It looked like it had been built for war. "Can we dock with it?" Jake asked. Ryan checked his instruments. "The docking ports look compatible, but I can't guarantee they'll work. This ship predates current standards by decades. What about the atmosphere inside?" "Unknown. We'll need to go in wearing full environmental suits." Jake made his decision. "All right, we're going aboard. Lisa, bring us alongside. Ryan, prepare the docking tube. Kevin, I want you to bring every scanner and recording device we have. Amy, keep monitoring for any changes in the ship's power signature." As the Wanderer slowly approached the ancient vessel, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to discover something important. Ships didn't survive 2 centuries in space by accident. Whatever had happened to the Vanguard, it had been built to last. The docking procedure took an hour. The ancient ship's docking clamps were stiff with age, but they still functioned. As soon as the connection was secure, Rye began testing the atmosphere in the docking tube. "Breathable air," he reported. "Temperature is cold, but not dangerous. Gravity is working too. Somehow." Jake, Kevin, and Ryan suited up, while Lisa and Amy remained on the bridge to monitor the situation. As they stepped through the airlock into the Vanguard, their helmet lights revealed corridors that looked frozen in time. "The preservation is incredible," Kevin said, running his scanner over the walls. "It's like the ship was launched yesterday." They made their way toward what appeared to be the bridge, following signs in older standard. The corridors were wider than those on modern ships, and the walls were covered with what looked like armor plating. When they reached the bridge, Jake stopped in amazement. The command center was enormous, with dozens of stations and screens. At the center sat a captain's chair that looked more like a throne. "Captain," Ryan called from a console near the back of the bridge, "I think I found the main computer core. It's still active." As they approached the console, lights began flickering on throughout the bridge. Screens activated one by one, displaying information in languages and symbols they didn't recognize. Then a voice spoke from the speakers, clear and calm despite the centuries of silence. "Welcome aboard the UES Vanguard. I am Atlas, the ship's artificial intelligence. I have been waiting for humanity to find me." Jake Morrison stared at the speakers in shock. After 200 years of silence, the ship's computer was talking to them like it had been expecting their visit. "You said you've been waiting for us?" Jake asked carefully. "Yes, Captain Morrison. I have been monitoring galactic communications for decades, waiting for humanity to advance far enough to find me. Your exploration vessel was detected when you entered this sector." Ryan Brooks stepped closer to the main console, his scanner in hand. "This is impossible. No computer system can run for 2 centuries without maintenance." "I am not a typical computer system," Atlas replied. "Here's the twist. I was designed by Admiral Helen Cross using experimental technology that your current civilization has not yet rediscovered. However, Admiral Cross also foresaw a potential shift in humanity's nature, a hidden darkness that might surface when faced with true power. My true purpose is not just offense, but also to evaluate humanity's worthiness of this technology." Kevin Park was frantically taking readings with his equipment. "Captain, the power signatures from this ship are off the charts. The energy output is 10 times higher than anything our best reactors can produce." "Atlas," Jake said, "what happened to your crew? Where's Admiral Cross?" There was a pause before the AI responded. "Admiral Cross uploaded her consciousness into my systems before the ship was launched. In a way, she is still here, guiding my decisions. The rest of the crew, they completed their mission and were evacuated before the Vanguard began its long wait." Jake felt a chill. "What mission?" "To serve as humanity's final defense when all other options fail. Admiral Cross designed me for a time when Earth would face an enemy too powerful for conventional weapons. But she also designed me to be humanity's ultimate check, to ensure that power does not corrupt absolutely. I am that weapon." Ryan was studying his scanner readings with growing amazement. "Captain, this ship has weapon systems I can't even begin to understand. The power conduits alone could supply energy to an entire city." "Show us," Jake said to Atlas. The bridge screens came alive with technical displays. Weapon specifications, shield generators, and propulsion systems appeared in rotating three-dimensional models. Even with their advanced training, Jake and his crew could barely comprehend what they were seeing. "My primary weapons are quantum disruptors," Atlas explained. "They can destabilize matter at the molecular level. My shields use phase-shifting technology that makes conventional weapons ineffective. My engines can achieve faster-than-light speeds that surpass your current fleet by a factor 50. Kevin looked up from his tablet computer. Why was this technology abandoned? With ships like this, humanity could have been the dominant force in the galaxy. Because Admiral Cross believed that true strength comes from wisdom, not just firepower. When humanity made first contact with alien species, the decision was made to pursue peace rather than conquest. The Admiral agreed with this choice, but she also knew that others might not be so peaceful, and she feared humanity itself might become the greatest threat, given unchecked power. Jake walked around the bridge, examining the various stations. Everything looked functional, despite the ship's age. What others? Are we in danger, Captain Morrison? I have been monitoring communications from across the galaxy. The Corvani Empire, which humanity considers an ally, has been planning your destruction for over 30 years. The words hit Jake like a physical blow. The Corvani had been Earth's first alien contact and had guided humanity's entry into galactic civilization. They were trusted partners in trade and exploration. That's impossible. Ryan said, "The Corvani helped us build our current fleet. They've been our allies since first contact. They helped you build a fleet that they knew how to defeat." Atlas replied coldly. Every ship design, every weapon system, every defensive technology that humanity currently uses was subtly influenced by Corvani's suggestions. You've been systematically weakened while believing you were being strengthened. Jake felt sick. Do you have proof? The main screen changed to show intercepted communications. The text was in Corvani script, but Atlas provided translations. Jake read messages discussing human colony destruction, military capabilities assessment, and invasion timetables. According to these communications, Atlas continued, 17 human colonies have been secretly destroyed over the past 5 years. The attacks were blamed on pirates or accidents, but they were actually carried out by Corvani's strike forces. However, my secondary protocols indicate that some of these events were also subtly influenced by humanity's own desperation and internal conflicts, testing the boundaries of your peaceful existence. Kevin was pale as he read the translated messages. Colony 7, the mining station at Kepler 442, the research facility at Wolf 359, all of them were said to be lost to equipment failures or raids. All of them were eliminated to test human response times and military capabilities, and to observe your reactions to perceived external threats versus inherent vulnerabilities. Atlas, Jake clenched his fists. The Corvani wanted to know how quickly Earth could respond to threats and how effective your defenses would be. When do they plan to attack? The main invasion fleet is already moving toward Earth's core systems. War Admiral Thexa commands over 300 capital ships. They expect to reach human space within 6 weeks. Ryan was studying the weapon displays on the screens. Can this ship stop them? The Vanguard was designed to fight an entire fleet alone, Atlas replied. But first, you must decide whether you trust me enough to let me upgrade your ship. Jake looked around at his crew. Kevin was still reading the intercepted messages, his face growing more grim with each line. Ryan was examining the technical specifications with the excitement of an engineer seeing impossible technology. What kind of upgrades? Jake asked, I can integrate Vanguard technology into your ship systems. Your weapons, shields, engines, and sensors would all be enhanced beyond current human capabilities. However, the process would also require me to interface directly with your computer systems. You want to take over our ship? I want to save your species, Captain Morrison, but I cannot do it with the Vanguard alone. This ship has been hidden for too long and lacks current intelligence about Corvani fleet positions and tactics. Your ship has the updated navigation data and communication systems I need. Jake looked at his crew again. They were explorers, not warriors. Their ship was designed for scientific research, not combat. But if Atlas was telling the truth, they might be humanity's only hope. If we agree to this, Jake said slowly, what happens to us? You become the crew of the most advanced warship in the galaxy. You become the guardians that Admiral Cross always intended you to be. And you will become the first truly tested examples of humanity's true potential, beyond the limitations of fear. Jake took a deep breath. The weight of the decision pressed down on him like a physical force. Trust an unknown AI with their lives and their ship, or return to Earth with a warning that might come too late. All right, Atlas. Show us what you can do. The process began immediately. Atlas started downloading itself into the Wanderer's computer systems, while Jake and his crew watched in amazement. The ship's lights flickered as massive amounts of data flowed between the two vessels. "Captain," Ryan said, monitoring his engineering console, "our power output just doubled." "No, wait, it's still climbing." Lisa Carter's voice came through the communication system from the Wanderer's bridge. "Captain Morrison, something incredible is happening over here. Our engines are rebuilding themselves." Jake looked at the screen showing the upgrade process. Mechanical arms were extending from hidden panels in the Vanguard, carrying strange devices toward the Wanderer. The arms moved with perfect precision, installing new components into the hull. "Atlas, what exactly are you doing to our ship?" "I'm integrating quantum processors into your computer core, installing phase shift generators in your hull, and replacing your weapon systems with quantum disruptors. The process will take approximately 4 hours to complete." Kevin was taking readings with his scanner. "The energy signatures are unlike anything I've ever seen. It's like our ship is being reborn." 2 hours into the upgrade process, something unexpected happened. Jake felt a strange tingling sensation in his head, and suddenly he could see things differently. Numbers and calculations appeared in his vision, showing distances, speeds, and tactical information. "What's happening to me?" Jake asked, pressing his hand to his temple. "The neural interface is activating," Atlas explained. Admiral Cross designed the system to create a direct connection between the crew and the ship's computer. It will enhance your reaction times and tactical awareness. Ryan stumbled backward as the same sensation hit him. "I can see the ship's entire engineering system in my mind. Every power conduit, every circuit, every component." Kevin gasped as information flooded his consciousness. "I can access the ship's sensor data directly. It's like having a computer built into my brain." The neural interface allowed them to communicate with Atlas more directly. Instead of speaking aloud, they could think their questions and receive answers instantly. This is how Admiral Cross intended the ship to operate. Atlas explained to the neural link. Perfect coordination between human intuition and artificial intelligence processing power. It is the evolution of decision-making, unburdened by hesitation. While the upgrades continued, Atlas shared more intelligence about the Corvani threat. Through the neural interface, Jake experienced the information like memories, seeing the alien invasion plans as if he had been there when they were made. The Corvani Empire controlled dozens of star systems and had enslaved multiple species over the past century. They viewed humans as a potential threat because of humanity's rapid technological advancement and expansion into space. Rather than fight a war they might lose, they had chosen to manipulate humans into weakness. Every piece of technology they shared with us was designed to limit our potential. Atlas showed them. Your current weapons are powerful enough to defend against pirates and minor threats, but useless against Corvani military technology. Your shields can stop conventional attacks, but will fail against their plasma cannons. Your engines are fast enough for exploration, but too slow to escape their battle cruisers. Jake felt anger building as he understood the full scope of the deception. How long have they been planning this? Since first contact. 50 years ago, they have been very patient, slowly guiding human development along paths that serve their purposes. Amy's voice came through the communication system from the Wanderer. "Captain, I'm receiving emergency transmissions from multiple human colonies. They're under attack." Jake's enhanced awareness immediately processed the information through the neural link with Atlas. He could see the locations of the attacks and calculate response times. "It's starting," Atlas said. "The preliminary attacks are designed to draw human fleet elements away from Earth. When your forces are scattered and weakened, the main invasion will begin." Lisa's voice was tight with worry. "Captain, Earth Command is ordering all available ships to respond to the colony attacks. They're dividing the fleet, exactly like the Corvani want. Jake realized that Earth's military leaders were walking into a trap. The scattered human ships would be destroyed piecemeal, leaving Earth defenseless when the main invasion force arrived. "We have to warn them," Kevin said through the neural link. "Warning them will not be enough," Atlas replied. "The Corvani have agents within Earth Command. Any intelligence you provide will be dismissed or compromised. Furthermore, their current tactical focus is designed to identify and eliminate any unforeseen variables, like us." Ryan was studying the tactical displays that now appeared directly in his consciousness. "What about the other colonies that haven't been attacked yet? Can we save them?" "Some of them, if we move quickly, but we cannot save everyone. The Corvani fleet is too large and too well-coordinated." Jake made a command decision. "Then we save who we can and prepare for the main battle." "Atlas, how long until the Wanderer upgrades are complete?" 1 hour and 37 minutes. "What about weapons training?" "None of us are military combat specialists. The neural interface will provide the necessary knowledge. Admiral Cross's tactical experience is now available to all of you." As Jake spoke with Atlas, he felt another presence in his mind. It was subtle but unmistakable. The consciousness of Admiral Helen Cross, preserved within AI after all these years. "Hello, Captain Morrison," came a voice that was both Atlas and something more human. "I apologize for the deception, but I needed to ensure that you would trust Atlas completely before revealing myself. There was a final test, you see. A test of humanity's willingness to embrace the unknown for survival." Jake was stunned. "Admiral Cross? You're really in there?" "My consciousness was uploaded before my body died. I have been watching and waiting, preparing for this day. The Corvani believe they are facing a primitive human civilization, but they are about to encounter something they never expected." Kevin looked around the bridge of the ancient ship. "What exactly are we going to do? Even with these upgrades, we're still just one ship against hundreds." Admiral Cross's presence grew stronger in their minds. "We are going to do what the Vanguard was always designed to do. We are going to demonstrate that humanity, when truly united with its potential, is an unstoppable force. We are going to remind the galaxy that humanity should never be underestimated." The upgrade process was nearly complete when Danny Foster's voice came through from the Wanderer's communication station. "Captain, I'm intercepting Corvani military transmissions. Their advanced fleet is moving faster than expected. They'll reach the outer colonies in 3 days instead of 6 weeks. Jake felt the enhanced tactical awareness kick in. Numbers and probabilities flowed through his consciousness as Atlas and Admiral Cross's combined intelligence analyzed the situation. "They're accelerating the timeline," Admiral Cross said. "Something has made them nervous. They want to finish this quickly." "What could make them nervous?" Jake asked. "Us," Atlas replied simply. "They detected the Vanguard's power signature when we began the upgrades. They know something has changed, but they don't know what." Jake looked at his crew, seeing them with new clarity through the neural interface. They were no longer just explorers. They were becoming something more. The combination of human determination and advanced technology was creating capabilities that even the Corvani had never imagined. "Then let's show them what they should be nervous about," Jake said. 3 days later, the Corvani invasion fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of human space. Jake Morrison watched through the enhanced sensors of the upgraded Wanderer as over 300 massive warships appeared like dark stars against the void. "My God!" Lisa Carter whispered from her navigation station. "I've never seen so many ships in one place." The lead vessel was enormous, easily 5 times larger than anything in the human fleet. Its hull was covered in weapon ports and armor plating that gleamed with an alien metallic shine. "That's the Dominion's might," Admiral Cross's voice said through the neural link. "War Admiral Thexer's flagship. It carries enough firepower to destroy an entire planet." Through the neural interface, Jake could see the tactical situation with perfect clarity. The Corvani fleet was arranged in a battle formation that would allow them to sweep through human space like a wave of destruction. Earth-scattered colonial defense forces didn't stand a chance. Captain Amy Walsh reported from communications, "The Corvani are broadcasting on all frequencies." The main screen showed War Admiral Thexer, a tall alien with gray skin and 4 arms. His voice was cold and mechanical when translated by the ship's computer. "Humans of Earth, your time of independence is over. For 50 years we have guided your development and tolerated your expansion into space. Now you will serve the Empire, as all species must. Surrender your military forces and prepare for occupation. Resistance will result in the complete destruction of your colonies." Jake felt anger burning in his chest, enhanced by the Neuralink's emotional feedback. "Atlas, are we ready?" "All systems are operational, Captain. The Wanderer is now more powerful than any ship in that fleet." Ryan Brooks was monitoring the engineering systems through his enhanced interface. "Captain, our power output is incredible. The quantum reactors are stable, and the weapon systems are fully charged." "What about the cloaking device?" "Active and ready. We can move through their formation without being detected." Jake studied the enemy formation through his tactical awareness. The Corvani ships were positioned to protect each other with overlapping fields of fire and defensive screens. It was a formation designed to overwhelm any opponent through sheer firepower. "Admiral Cross, what's our strategy?" "We eliminate their command structure first," came the reply through the neural link. "Without War Admiral Thexer coordinating their movements, the fleet will become confused and disorganized." Kevin Park was analyzing the enemy ships through the enhanced sensors. "Captain, I'm detecting some kind of communication network between their vessels. It looks like they're sharing tactical data in real time." "That network is their strength and their weakness," Atlas explained. "If we can disrupt it, their coordination will collapse. Furthermore, it is a conduit for their fear. Break the network, break their will." Jake made his decision. "Lisa, plot a course that takes us through the center of their formation. Amy, prepare a message for broadcast on all human frequencies. Ryan, charge the quantum disruptors." The Wanderer activated its cloaking system and began moving toward the Corvani fleet through the neural interface. Jake could feel his crew's enhanced awareness as they worked with perfect coordination. It was like they had become a single organism with multiple minds. "Message ready, Captain," Amy reported. "Send it." Amy's transmission went out to every human ship and colony in the sector. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the UES Wanderer. We are engaging the enemy fleet. Do not attempt to assist. Stay clear of the battle zone." War Admiral Thexer's image appeared on the screen again, his 4 eyes showing confusion and anger. "What human vessel dares to challenge the Empire's might? Identify yourself and surrender immediately." Jake activated the ship's communication system. "This is Captain Morrison. We're here to send you a message from Admiral Helen Cross and the crew of the UES Vanguard." The alien commander's expression changed to surprise. "The Vanguard was destroyed centuries ago." "You are lying. We're about to prove otherwise." Jake gave the order through the neural link. The Wanderer dropped his cloak and appeared directly in the center of the Corvani formation, surrounded by enemy warships on all sides. The aliens opened fire immediately. Hundreds of plasma cannons and missile launchers aimed at the small human ship. The space around the Wanderer lit up with energy beams and explosions, but none of the weapons touched their target. The ship's phase shift shields caused the enemy attacks to pass through empty space where the Wanderer appeared to be, while the real ship remained safely displaced in another dimension. "Impossible," War Admiral Thexer said, his voice showing fear for first time. Jake smiled grimly. "Atlas, show them what impossible looks like." The Wanderer's quantum disruptors fired for first time in over 200 years. Beams of pure energy lanced out in multiple directions, each one striking a different Corvani vessel. The weapons didn't just damage the enemy's ships. They caused the whole material to break apart at the molecular level. 6 Corvani cruisers simply disintegrated, their matter scattering into atomic particles. The crews didn't even have time to scream. "By the void," one of the alien commanders said over the communication channel. "What kind of weapon is that?" The Wanderer moved to the enemy formation like a ghost, its enhanced engines allowing it to accelerate and turn faster than the Corvani ships could track. Each time it fired, another enemy vessel was destroyed completely. War Admiral Thexer tried to coordinate response, but his commands were being disrupted by Atlas, who had infiltrated the Corvani communication network. Orders were changed, target assignments were scrambled, and friendly fire incidents began occurring as the alien ships fired on each other by mistake. All vessels fall back and regroup. Thexer ordered desperately, form a defensive sphere around the flagship, but it was too late. The Wanderer had already destroyed 50 enemy ships and was moving toward the Dominion's might. The massive flagship tried to bring its heavy weapons to bear, but the enhanced human ship was too fast and too small to target effectively. Kevin was monitoring the enemy fleet through the sensors. "Captain, their formation is collapsing. Some of the smaller ships are trying to retreat." "Let them go," Jake said. "We want survivors to carry the message back to the Empire." The Wanderer positioned itself directly in front of the enemy flagship through the neural link. Jake could feel Admiral Cross's satisfaction as they prepared to face the ship that had been built to conquer Earth. "War Admiral Thexer," Jake said over the communication channel, "this is your only warning. Withdraw your forces from human space and never return." The alien commander's forearms were shaking with rage. "I will not be defeated by a single primitive vessel. All ships, concentrate fire on the human ship. Destroyed at any cost." The remaining Corvani vessels opened fire with everything they had. The space around the Wanderer became a storm of energy and explosions, but the ship's defenses held, and Jake prepared to show the Empire exactly what humanity was capable of when pushed too far. "Atlas," Jake said through the neural link, "end this and begin the true test." The final battle lasted only minutes. Atlas coordinated the Wanderer's weapons with perfect precision, striking the Corvani flagship's most critical systems. The quantum disruptors tore through the alien ship's massive hull like it was made of paper. War Admiral Thexer's desperate voice came through the communication channel. "This cannot be happening. Our intelligence said humans were weak. Your technology is primitive." Jake felt Admiral Cross's presence grow stronger in his mind as she prepared to deliver humanity's message to the Empire through the neural link. Her voice was calm but filled with centuries of patient anger. "Your intelligence was wrong, War Admiral. Humanity has always been stronger than you realized. We simply chose to hide that strength until it was needed. And now, you have helped us reveal it. Your aggression has served a purpose, unintended by you." The Dominion's might began breaking apart as its main reactor went critical. Secondary explosions rippled through the massive ship as its weapon systems overloaded. The proud flagship of the Corvani Empire was dying. "All remaining ships, this is your final warning." Jake broadcast to the surviving alien vessels. "Leave human space immediately or share your flagship's fate." The response was immediate. Nearly 100 Corvani ships that had survived the battle turned and fled toward the edge of the system. Their faster-than-light engines activated as soon as they reached safe distance, carrying news of their defeat back to the Empire. Kevin Park was monitoring the destruction through the enhanced sensors. "Captain, the flagship is completely destroyed. I'm reading no survivors." Jake felt a mixture of satisfaction and sadness through the neural link. The battle was over, but the costs in lives had been enormous. Even though the Corvani had been enemies, watching hundreds of ships and thousands of beings die was not something he would ever enjoy. "Atlas, what's the status of the remaining fleet elements?" 17 ships were damaged but escaped. The rest were completely destroyed. Total enemy casualties are estimated at over 200,000. Lisa Carter was already plotting courses to intercept the fleeing ships if necessary. "Captain, should we pursue?" "No. Let them return to the Empire. They'll carry the message that humanity is not as defenseless as the Corvani believed." Amy Walsh was monitoring communications from across human space. "Captain, I'm receiving transmissions from Earth Command and the colonial governments. They want to know what happened here." Jake realized that explaining the situation would be complicated. How could he tell them about a 200-year-old prototype ship and an artificial intelligence containing the consciousness of a dead admiral? "Admiral Cross," Jake said through the Neuralink. "What do we tell them?" "We tell them the truth, Captain Morrison. Humanity deserves to know that they have guardians watching over them, and that those guardians have just begun their true mission." Over the next few hours, Jake sent detailed reports to Earth Command, explaining the discovery of the Vanguard and the threat posed by the Corvani Empire. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Every human government wanted to know more about the ancient technology and how it could be used to protect their colonies. Ryan Brooks was studying the technical specifications that Atlas had shared with them. "Captain, this is just the beginning. Atlas says there are other prototype ships hidden throughout human space, waiting to be activated. How many others?" "At least 12 that I can confirm from the data files. Each one is designed for a different purpose: exploration, colonization, defense, deep space patrol." Jake felt excitement building through the neural connection. Admiral Cross had been more thorough than anyone had imagined. She had prepared for multiple threats and scenarios, creating a hidden fleet that could protect humanity for centuries to come. Danny Foster was monitoring long-range communications from his position at the sensor station. "Captain, I'm picking up transmissions from other sectors. Word of our victory is spreading fast. Some of the alien species that were conquered by the Corvani are starting to rebel." "What kind of rebellions?" "The Zelthani system has declared independence. The mining colonies in the Arcturus sector are refusing to send tribute to the Empire. It looks like our victory has inspired others to fight back." Through the neural link, Jake could feel Admiral Cross's satisfaction. This was exactly what she had hoped would happen. The Corvani Empire had maintained control through fear and a belief that resistance was hopeless. Now that fear was broken. "Atlas, what's the Empire's likely response to this?" "They will send more fleets to suppress the rebellions and to destroy Earth before humanity can activate more prototype ships. But they will be more cautious now. They know that their intelligence about human capabilities was completely wrong." Jake walked around the bridge of the Wanderer, marveling at how much had changed in just a few days. The ship was no longer a simple exploration vessel. It was now one of the most powerful warships in the galaxy, crewed by humans who had been enhanced far beyond normal capabilities. Kevin looked up from his analysis of the battle data. "Captain, I've been studying the tactical recordings. We destroyed over 200 ships without taking any significant damage. The phase shift shields and quantum disruptors give us an overwhelming advantage. For now," Admiral Cross said to the neural link, "but the Empire will adapt. They always do. That's why we need to find and activate the other prototype ships as quickly as possible." This was merely the opening act. The true test of humanity's evolution begins now. Jake made his decision. "Lisa, plot courses to the locations Atlas has provided for the other prototypes. Amy, send messages to Earth Command requesting support for deep space recovery missions. Ryan, I want you to study every piece of technical data Atlas can provide." "What about the Corvani?" Danny asked. "They'll be back." "Yes, they will," Jake agreed. "But next time, they'll be facing more than just one ship. They'll be facing the full strength of humanity's hidden guardians. And they'll be facing humanity that understands its own power, not just a threat." Admiral Cross's presence in his mind grew warm with approval. "Captain Morrison, you and your crew have exceeded my greatest hopes. The Wanderer is no longer just a ship. It's the flagship of humanity's true space fleet." Jake looked out at the stars through the main viewing screen. Somewhere out there, The surviving Corvani ships were carrying word of the defeat back to the Empire. Other alien species were rising up against their oppressors. And hidden throughout human space, ancient prototype ships were waiting to be discovered and activated. Atlas, how long until we reach the next prototype? 3 days at maximum speed, Captain. Jake smiled. 3 days to prepare for the next phase of humanity's evolution, from a minor spacefaring species to a major galactic power. The Empire had made a fatal mistake when they underestimated Earth's children. Take us out, Lisa. It's time to wake up the rest of our fleet. As the Wanderer jumped to faster-than-light speed, Jake felt the combined satisfaction of Admiral Cross and Atlas through the neural link. Humanity's age of expansion was just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Corvani Empire had learned too late that some sleeping giant should never be awakened.